At this point in time, I'd like to break from the regular conduct of business and ask our presenter for the annual report from the Traffic Safety and Parking Committee.
Honorable Mayor and council members, my name is Eric Wood. I am the chairman of the Traffic Safety Parking Committee. This is our report for 2010, 2011. For everything that was going on, we actually had a really productive year, I think. We had 53 residents show up, which I think is still a lot of people. We were able to really, this was the first year that the traffic toolkit was actually implemented and in place. And you'll see later on that we've actually been able to apply it, and it's actually been, I think, quite helpful for the residents.
Great.
One of the first things that we addressed was the 100 block of Linden, and we ended up installing radar enforced plates in each direction, and then on San Felipe to reinforce the 25-mile speed limit. We noticed in San Bruno, I mean, and it's just the way that it was built, the streets are smaller, and the main issue that we address is speed. So you'll see that a lot of the things that we address in our council have to do with speed, you know, community people coming and saying, they're driving too fast down our street. I'm like, well, everybody drives fast down the street. So the traffic calming toolkit has actually been very helpful in implementing these things. So you'll see as we kind of go along. The next item, the next one that we addressed was the 200 block of Acacia. And the nice thing about these is the residents get to come and have a voice. So this one, there was really nothing that we could do. So it's nice because we have a police officer sitting on the committee, and they then increased enforcement. And we have yet to hear from anyone in that area. So it's nice. Then we had the 500 block of Elm. Again, it was the same thing. We ended up doing just more police enforcement. But again, it's nice that as a resident, you get to come and speak and have someone listen, and then we can actually make a recommendation, and a lot of these times they get done fairly quickly. The next one is a longer term. It has to do with the San Bruno post office and the circulation. So the nice thing on this is the postmaster has actually requested funds because he doesn't want a short-term solution, he wants a long-term solution. And it was really nice because we were able to, as a committee, talk about it and come up with a longer-term solution versus a shorter-term. Because as we know, everybody, after they leave, they all try to go left, and it just doesn't work. The next one is the intersection at Genevieve and Linden. We actually had 2 meetings on this. We were trying to come up with the right solution, and there isn't one for this intersection. It's nice because we had not just residents come, but we had business owners come in that whole area. So what we recommended, and I believe you guys approved, was to put in the intersection there, keep clear, and then we are going to have them put the paddles about the walking. So it's like anything that we could do to think of to help for these intersections we've been trying to do and be very creative and listen. So that's kind of one of the nice things about what we're doing. The next thing is the blue zone at 715 4th Avenue. The blue zone. So this was our first denial that came before the council, and we agreed with it, the denial. And it was just one person that wanted a handicap in front of his house. And again, we walked through the whole thing. He paid for the appeal, and we agreed, and it didn't come before you guys. The next one was the red zone at 80 Bayshore. And how was this one? On this one, the recommendation from the staff, we actually ended up changing it and kind of making it a little bit shorter and better. The next one was on Atlantic between San Mateo and Montgomery. Yeah, this was the one that was actually requested by the fire department, and we approved it, and the work order has been issued. The next one was a 2-hour parking. We had, I don't remember how many, but I remember we had the Chamber of Commerce come, we had business owners come, we had residents come. So we listened to them all, but then agreed with them and changed it to 2 hours. Then the last major one, we had 3 separate meetings on this. What had to do with Caltrains and moving their parking lot further south. And the residents were really concerned that it was going to impact their parking. So after 3 meetings, and I don't know how many hours from staff, thank you, we found out that the peak parking was after 5 o'clock. So it wasn't being impacted. It was actually less impacted by the Caltrain move than it was by the Caltrain move. So we left it as is and made no recommendation. So going forward, we're going to be focusing on the same thing. The really, really nice thing about staff now, I mean, they've really changed things around, and I can't thank them enough, but they give us, I don't know if you guys can see, but they give us sheets, like basically Excel spreadsheets, big, that so we know what's coming up, we know what's on the agenda, we know items that, people that have come and put in requests about. So we are as informed as they are, and it really, really helps us. So we like to thank Clara and Tina for putting all this together. That's where we're at. Do you guys have any questions?
Great. Any questions? Rico?
Through the chair. And just very quickly, maybe it goes to staff. On the Genevan and Linden, is there a timeline for that? Because I had learned, obviously, that we don't have a particular product that we need in order to go forward on that task. So do we know when we're going to get that in to be able to perform that work order?
I don't have a specific time for you, but I will provide you with that. I will follow up with that information to give you a exact time frame when everything can be implemented. I know that keep it clear, the first phase can be implemented very shortly.
Okay, and then once the product comes in, then it can be
Yes.
implemented on the line. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wood.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Comments?
through the,
Irene?
I want to say, this has been the most enthusiastic, delightful traffic and safety, whatever your whole title, parking, thank you, a report that we've ever had. So thanks to Clara and you and your group for not kind of giving up, but examining what you've done and what needed to be done and finding solutions for it. So we really, really appreciate all the hours it takes. It's not easy, so thank you very much.
Right, and also thank you from the entire council for all of your work. The city pretty much runs on staff and volunteers, and so we can't say enough for your time and efforts. No pun intended, but you're the one committee where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. So,
And we don't mind that.
yeah, you actually get to see the people and the streets involved and stuff, and it's you get to see their concerns because it's all local stuff. So thank you very, very much.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Mr. Hamilton. Thank you for coming, Mr. Hamilton.